It's the celebration of the Festival of Lights. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Join me as I get ready with some of my takes on the traditional foods for Hanukkah here on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Happy Hanukkah. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and welcome to the Goya Kitchen at Junior Achievement of South Florida here in Coconut Creek. Hanukkah is the Jewish festival of lights. The festival goes back as far as 168 BCE. Now, you know what I think of when it comes to celebrations? Food. So I thought it would be appropriate today to make some of the foods to celebrate Hanukkah. So let's get cooking. This is my first time making a celery root potato latke, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to show you what I have going on in this bowl. First, we took some pieces of celery root as well as pieces of potato, and all you do is put them into a food processor and grate it up. It's really simple. If not, you can always use a box grater to grate your potatoes and your celery root. Once it's grated, what you're going to do is put it in a towel in a bowl, like so. You pop it in there, and then you use this towel to squeeze and drain out all of the water from the potato and the celery root. Now, I also do onions like that. The onion you can drain or not drain. It's totally up to you. I don't mind some juicy onions for flavor. So once you have all that, that's what I have in this bowl. We're going to go ahead and season it well with some salt and a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to start adding the flour. And let's mix that right in. This is the first step, and you have to really work with your hands, and I'm using gloves so that I don't get all dirty, but normally at home I would never use gloves. And what I really want you to do is I want you to feel the latke to make sure it all kind of adheres to itself once the eggs are in. So I think it needs just a touch more flour. You can always use matzo meal instead if you want to. It's really up to you. So once the flour is really in there, go ahead and start cracking your eggs. And I'm going to add 2 eggs to start because I'm not really sure if I need 3 or not. Again, I just want to feel it. So let's go ahead and mix the eggs in to the celery root and potato. So I'm using russets today. You can use Yukon Gold if you'd rather. I do like the starchiness of the russet, however. I feel like it's going to hold this together better. So let's see, this is the test. If this can hold together, yeah, it holds together. See, that to me is the test if the latke is ready. So I'm not going to add any more egg to it. I'm going to go ahead and stick to my 2 eggs. All right, so let's go ahead and make them. Now, it's up to you if you want to make big latkes or little latkes, but somebody has to be manning the pot over here, the pan, with oil. We usually take turns in my family. If I'm cooking with my sister, next to my sister, she'll either watch the pan or be forming the latkes, because you can't really form them all ahead of time. You really want to make it a la minute. So as you form, you go right into the oil. So for the top of these, I'm going to be adding a little bit of creme fraiche. You can use sour cream if you'd rather. And I decided to just go with some celery leaves. Traditionally, latkes, as you know, probably are served with applesauce, which goes really well with celery root as well. But today I'm just going strictly with a little celery leaf and sour cream. So I'm going to go ahead and let these cook. We basically let them get golden on one side and then flip them over. You never want to pat them, by the way. A lot of people do this. They like form them and form them and form them, and then they're just too dense in the center. I like them when they're a little more loosey-goosey, and so I'm shaping them, but I'm not like really like compacting it too much because I just feel like that's just going to be too much. So I just want you to wait with me for just another minute so that you can see how golden it is when I flip it over. And then y'all can take a little break and we can jump into some other stuff. So let me take these gloves off. because you never want to have the gloves on when you're over the stove with the oil. This one looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Yep, sure is. You see how beautifully golden they are? They're not too dark, but they do have that gorgeous crust around them. So it looks like we're gonna have some really delicious latkes going on today. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into these and to share them with you. So come right back, because I've got more food to celebrate Hanukkah, and we have to, of course, serve our latkes. So hurry up, we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Come back to SoFlo Taste from the Goya Kitchen at Junior Achievement of South Florida. Chef Michelle is just getting started here on Local 10.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and today I'm celebrating the 8 days and nights of Hanukkah with food. So I wanted to show you my beautiful celery root and potato latkes. I'm topping them with some thinly sliced celery leaves. Yep, celery leaves. That's just those little soft colored leaves that are on the top of the bunch of celery that you buy that you think that you can't eat, but you can. They're delicious. And a little bit of sour cream. I would top that with a little bit of Malden, which is my favorite crunchy salt. And there you have it, delicious celery root potato latkes. And if you don't eat celery root, just make potato latkes. But make them, because they're so yummy, and all the kids love them. All right, let's jump into the next recipe. It's gonna be a stewed mushroom and bulgur ragu. Bulgur is so good. This is what it looks like after it's cooked. Just cook it according to package instructions. You basically cook it like pasta. It's super simple, and it's really healthy and quite delicious. It has a little bit of a chew to it, and it's really yummy. So it's kind of a bulgur salad, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up a pan, and let's go ahead and cook some mushrooms. Now check out my mushrooms today. They're beautiful. I have so many different kinds in here, I can't even begin to tell you. But just pick out your favorite mushrooms, or maybe some new ones that you've never tried before, and let's go ahead and cook them up. So let's get some butter. And if you don't want to use butter, you don't have to. You can absolutely just use oil. I decided to use both on this recipe. So I have olive oil here as well. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is cook off some shallots. These are some julienne shallots. If you don't use shallots much, they're really great. I think they're even better sometimes than an onion, but you can use onion if you'd rather, a nice sweet onion. And I really want to get them really good and caramelized before adding the mushroom. We also have a little bit of minced garlic here, and I've got lemons to zest as well. And then the bulgur. And then to cook the mushrooms, I've decided to use some dry Spanish sherry. I love sherry. This is dry Spanish sherry. I love this stuff. I could sit here sipping it if it was a little more chill. That stuff is so good. It's funny, I'm not a big drinker, but the two things that I love to drink happen to be really good for cooking. So I love my sherry and I love vermouth. And both happen to be really good to cook mushrooms. All right, so let's keep caramelizing. As we do that, let's season the shallots with some salt and some black pepper. So these are just starting to caramelize. So I'm going to go ahead and add mushrooms. And I kind of want it to be almost even for the amount of mushrooms to the amount of bulgur in this recipe. So we really want to get everything good and caramelized as it's done here. We have a lot of color going on with the shallot and the mushroom, which is just delicious. We've seasoned with salt and pepper. Now we're just going to add a little lemon zest. And a hit of sherry. Raise up your temperature. I'm gonna add garlic now. And let all that cherry completely dissolve. You'll probably have to add just a little bit more salt to balance it out. And finally, I have a lot of chopped parsley. This is probably about a 1/4 cup. Let's go ahead and add that in there. So this is a 1/4 cup of mixed tarragon and parsley. And you can go all parsley, all tarragon if you want to, but I think the two together are just delicious. So that is done. Let's go ahead and just shake that into this mixing bowl right here. Add in some bulgur. And like I said, this is kind of like a salad, so you can serve it warm or you can serve it room temperature. It's really up to you. All I can tell you is it smells so good right here where I'm standing. I'm getting all the delicious aromas. So let's go ahead and put this into a serving plate. Now, I thought this would be so yummy with some manchego cheese over the top. That's up to you if you are in the mood and if you're eating meat, because a lot of times we don't combine meat and dairy on the same night. So here is my manchego right over the top, and there's your delicious dish of barley with wild mushrooms. I've got so much more, so please come back. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We are here at Junior Achievement of South Florida in Coconut Creek, a wonderful place for our children. But it's also going to be a wonderful place the night of January 27th. That's the night of the JA Circle of Wise Women's JA Uncorked, where you can stroll through JA World, sampling from restaurants and beverage partners, along with specialty lounges. There will be live music, dancing, raffles, a silent auction, and more. For sponsorship opportunities, tickets, and more information, visit jasouthflorida.org/JA World Uncorked or call 954-979-7120. Now back to celebrating the Festival of Lights. So one thing I always look forward to every Hanukkah is actually apple fritters. We make donuts, we make fritters, we use this oil and we reuse the oil over and over. It has a lot of significance for us. So to make a damn good apple fritter, I turned to a woman that I actually met, and I have some recipes in some of her books. This is Jane Cohen's Jewish Holiday Cooking, and it's probably one of my favorite cookbooks for Jewish cooking. She's wonderful, her books are incredible, and I looked to her for a great apple fritter recipe. I just wanted a variation on mine, and sure enough, I found one. So let me explain. It's a little longer than mine is, but I think it's going to be a lot better. What you do is you take Granny Smith apples, you core them, and then you slice them after peeling them, of course. But she macerates them, and she takes brown sugar, cinnamon, and vanilla, puts them all into a sealable bag. Try to take the air out of it. And go ahead and shake it up as much as you can, divvy it all up, and then you let this macerate for about 20 to 30 minutes outside of the fridge, okay? Once you do, you'll have these beautifully macerated apples, really good and juicy, but they have so much flavor in them. So here's the first part that's really different that I loved. Next, we're gonna go ahead and make the batter. This is the dry part. This is flour. We've got baking powder, baking soda, and a little bit of salt. Go ahead and put it all through a mesh strainer. There we go, to ensure no lumps. All right, next. We're gonna come over here to mix the wet ingredients. We've got egg yolks and oil. Let's go ahead and use the mixer to combine. Little by little, I'm going to be adding beer to this. Now let's go ahead and add the dry mixture to this mix. And I'm going to go ahead and use a rubber spatula to mix this all in so that I don't over mix it. What's interesting about her recipe is that she has so many different ingredients that lighten up the batter. Think about it. She's got the baking powder, the baking soda, she's got beer, and then she also has egg whites. So it's a lot. It's crazy, but I think that's why it's so good and makes it so light, and the batter, which a lot of batters for apple fritters are very dense, and I think that's why this one is just so good, because it's not at all. So the last thing we'll do is fold in some whipped egg whites. Like so. And we have this beautiful batter, which I kind of recommend this instead of tempura at times as well. You can dip your sweet potatoes and your asparagus in here if you want to too. Without the vanilla, of course. All right. So now we're ready to dip and fry. I've got my oil, which is a flavorless oil. You never want to use anything that has too much of a flavor, like olive or even peanut to me has too much of a flavor to do delicate apple fritters with, or donuts or anything like that. Okay, let's take these down. So you can use a couple different things. You can use chopsticks, you can use tongs. It's really up to you how you like to grab your ingredients, but let's go ahead and bring it all here together. So the apple goes into the batter, and let's go ahead and see how one works. Dip in and then right into the hot oil. And what I love seeing is that it's all starting to fluff up, which is a very good sign for apple fritters. All right, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of these so we can try them together. I have a little powdered sugar to shake on, so come right back and let's see how these start turning out. I'll see you in a minute. Can't remember what I topped my ceviche with or the recipe for my mother's flan? Go to SoFloShows.com and look it up. You'll find every recipe from apple crisp to zabaglione and everyone in between. That's SoFloShows.com. SoFlo Taste returns right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and our Festival of Lights dinner. So I am just finishing putting these beautiful apple fritters down on the plate. They're so fluffy and light. I can barely not even hold them. They're gorgeous. So let's go ahead and fill up the plate. And like I told you, we're going to be topping this with some powdered sugar. So let's do so now. Finishing the powdered sugar, or if you wanted a little cinnamon sugar on the top, that would also be delicious. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for joining me for the celebration of Hanukkah. It's this time of year when ageless traditions are being embraced and new ones are being created. I hope you've gotten some ideas to add to your family's traditions. It's a wonderful time to share with family and friends. Next week, they may not be recipes to bring about world peace, but they are a start. Food has the magical ability to bring people together. Join me as I give you recipes to share on the next SoFlo Taste. Now let's check in with my pal, Hunter Frankie, to see what he's got coming up on SoFlo Health tomorrow. Hey, Hunter.
Hey there, Michelle. Those Hanukkah dishes look delicious. While you're gearing up for Hanukkah, we're gearing up for Christmas. We're actually at a Christmas tree lot right now, which is why you hear the chainsaw in the background. See, there he is. Plus, we're also going to take care of your knees and teach you the health benefits of Indian cuisine. It's all right here tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on the one and only Local 10 for SoFlo Health.
Okay, Hunter, thanks. We'll be glued tomorrow afternoon, and happy Hanukkah. So, Taste Buds, I'll see y'all next week. Hanukkah Sameach, and goodbye and very good taste. Mwah! Happy Hanukkah!